fellow book lovers, welcome back to the Bibliovert channel. My name is Jacqueline, and for today's video, I am going to try to only read audiobooks this week, and I'm super excited about it. Historically, I have not been the best audiobook reader. I think that there was just something where, for some reason, I couldn't quite get it. But I have been trying to change that over the last couple of years, and it has absolutely gotten better. So I think that it would just be fun to do a whole week of only listening to audiobooks. So the book that I'm going to start off with, it's book 2 in a series. I read the first one on my Kindle, but when I was looking up reviews, I saw people say that this is duet style narration, which is my all-time fave. So I was like, definitely gonna have to do that for book 2, and it is The Night Prince by Laura Palfreman. This is a like wolf shifter, but like most of the wolves are Scottish, which I have not minded. And she's a princess, and she essentially gets kidnapped, and then she falls in love, as one does. Anyway, the book 1 was really good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think I would probably give it like around 4 stars. I'm only a few chapters into this one so far, and so far so good, so that's nice. There is a little bit of a love triangle going on right now that is causing me stress. I do not enjoy the love triangle trope, but both of the options in this book are quite nice. So like, I'm not like super mad about it. It's one of the best I've seen done. Let me just put it that way. Also, I'm still like only 3 chapters into the book, so like the love triangle hasn't really hit its full stride yet, so we'll see how that affects things later on. So I'm going to be reading that one. The other audiobook that I'm going to be listening to is the continuation of the Murderbot Diaries. I listened to All Systems Red, which is the first one. This has 2 of the books in it. They're super short. Oh my gosh, I cackled the entire time listening to it. It's super short, like literally this is book 1. It's super short, absolutely hilarious. Amanda from Lost in a Bookish World recommended this to me, and I am so glad she did. Basically, this is about a security droid who is like mostly robot, but like has like a human face and like some human attributes, but is like mainly a robot. And he hacks his system and basically turns off his governor. So like the things that will tell him not to do something, he's like, goodbye. And all he wants to do is hang out in his room and watch TV and listen to music. And he is so socially awkward, and I love him with my whole heart. And his whole thing is he calls himself Murderbot because basically he doesn't have any guardrails anymore. Like, he literally could do whatever he wants because he doesn't have the governor. But instead, he just really loves his humans. He just wants to take care of them. But he doesn't want to have to look them in the eye for too long. And Your Honor, I love him. So anyway, I'm going to be continuing this one. I'm so excited to get to it. It's going to be like my sweet little treat. But other than that, I don't know what to listen to next. Also, I have ordered these book tavern signs to like separate my shelves by genre. I'm so excited. So naturally that means that I need to redo my shelves. Like that's what I'm hearing. Also, one of my good friends, Chelsea, has a used bookstore stand in Pittsburgh, so I'm going to go through my shelves and send some books to her. So I'm so excited. Before I start listening, I do need to plan out where I'm going to put everything. So I did get 8 signs. I had to write them down. I got fantasy, TBR, romance, romantasy, mythology, historical fiction, my 5-star reads, and young adult. This is like the setup that I have so far. So those 2 corner shelves there, the one truly in the corner was my like rom-com, and then these were my romance that I hadn't read yet. They were like the romance TBRs. And then we really just kind of get into a Mod Podge of like all fantasy, young adult, random, but these are like all the books that I have read that are on my shelves. And then I do kind of have a little bit of mythology in that one. That doesn't look like where I'm pointing in real life, but that top shelf there. And then let me move you. We have a lot of my classics, which this shelf is now really empty because I've been using a lot of them as decor around the house, because we got like a chest of drawers and like a TV console. And I also use them as decor on like our mantles and stuff. And even though I didn't get a classics sign, I didn't love it, it wasn't my favorite, I do think that for now I'm going to put it next to mythology, and then maybe eventually I'll get a classic sign, because I like the idea of it. And then literally all of this, these next two shelves are just my TBR that I haven't gotten to, specifically hardbacks and then paperbacks is how I've done it. But because I moved everything around for a previous video, everything is out of order. And I also think what's hard is for like some of these shelves, like specifically like this one, I just kind of wanted to decorate stuff randomly, so it just takes up a lot of space. And then when I finish one off of my TBR shelf and I move it over here, I'm like, well, where do I put you now? So I do think I'm gonna keep like the general concept the same, in the sense of like, these are the books that I've read, but I definitely will separate them out into fantasy, romantasy, young adult, that kind of stuff. You know, I'm not gonna think about this too hard. we're just gonna do it. If I ever say that I am running short on candles, show me this video, because good heavens, I have so many candles. So this is what we're working with. I did get rid of probably around 30 books to send to Chelsea, and I did leave this little one blank here because a lot of the books that are on my TBR are rom-coms, so like I know they're gonna go to one of these two shelves. And I also made it to where it'd be like really easy to make more room, so I kind of wanted it to fill space for right now, but also be able to take a lot more books. So now we have 5-star favorites, and then we move into romantasy.
and it kind of continues to go down this way. This is not a perfect system. You're going to look at some of these and say, what are they doing there? I agree. Looking at you, Olivia Blake, I didn't know where to put you. So, fantasy. And then, yeah, we get into more fantasy, and then like YA over here. The only thing that changed here was mythology, which honestly, loosely based. And then this is the TBR shelf. I did try to make it kind of fantasy and then romance, but again, I got tired. So it didn't really work out. I do have some little decorations and stuff left over that I'm going to take into the other room. And I had taken this stack of books out to take a picture for Instagram. Completely forgot about them. So I guess they're gonna have to go somewhere over here. It's fine. It's like totally fine. Honestly, I think I'm gonna put them right there.
Oh my gosh, I just realized, I think this will be the first time that this room is on camera. I finished doing the little gallery wall. Allie is gifting me a printer's tray, and I'm so excited. It's so beautiful. She's so sweet and thoughtful. So that's where that's gonna go. So it's just a piece of paper for right now. So a little bit of backstory for what I'm about to get into. Allie has been playing Planet Zoo, which I have never played before. And so when I was in Houston with her and Tiffany, I was like, hey, I want to see your zoo. Like, will you give us a tour? And she was like, of course. So she like shows us around her zoo, all this kind of stuff. And then later she was like, you can watch like some gameplay of it. I was like, absolutely, yes. And the one that we ended up watching was by Let's Game It Out. And he does like an unethical Planet Zoo. And it was actually one of the funniest things I have ever seen in my entire life. And so I had never heard of him as a content creator. He's very, very popular. I just apparently live under a rock. And so we started watching some of his other videos that he has. And one of them was on Teddy's Haven, which it is just like a cozy fantasy sim game where you own a store and you just forage and you can like make stuff and then you sell your stuff and then you can expand your store and you make friends with so many cats and then you have a little bear cub that you are raising. And I am obsessed. The amount of hours I have spent playing this game is insane. I'm going to continue listening to the audiobook and I'm going to play that for a little while. So I will insert a clip of playing. I love this game. It's been so much fun. There's like no time constraints. There's no rush. No one's ever mean to you. There's like really not a point other than to just like have fun and you can explore. And it's lovely. It is lovely, the coziest of games, and I'm obsessed. It's still in development, so there are definitely some bugs and like quirks here that I don't care. I love it. Love it. So that's what we're gonna do. Good morning. So I finished The Night Prince last night and I did kind of cheat. I decided that once I went to bed, I was going to read it on my Kindle, and then I ended up staying up really late and finishing it. So I feel like I have some conflicting thoughts about the book overall. This one I'm leaning more towards 3. I didn't dislike it by any means. It was definitely a fun read. But I really liked the direction that we were going in book 1. In book 2, we pivoted, which is fair. But I will say this. This book is ACOTAR, but wolves. Do with that information what you will. I am now going to listen to the next book, The Murderbot Diaries, and I am so excited. I think I said this earlier. It kind of like feels like a little sweet treat to like get to listen to this. I can't wait. I'm so excited. And then I have been desperately needing to read the City of Brass series, and I just listened to the like preview of the audiobook just to see if I would like vibe with the audiobook narrator, and I vibe. We feel good. I have wanted to read this series for years and I haven't. I don't know why. It's one of those where like I think I've made it this like really lofty thing in my own head, and I'm so nervous about it, even though I really don't need to be. So I think that by listening to it on audiobook, maybe it'll be less intimidating than like sitting down and like reading it. I don't know. We're doing our best over here. So I do think that one might be next. And the Murderbot Diaries, that one will be pretty quick. Like I'll listen to that one in just like an hour or 2. So that's the plan. So sorry. I finished Artificial Condition by Martha Wells. So funny. so funny. I just think that anytime I need a pick-me-up, or anytime I feel like I'm kind of teetering close to the edge of a book slump, I'm just going to pick up one of these, because like the giggles, just a complete and total giggle fest, and I love them so much. So there are, I believe, 4 more books, like novellas. So 2 more like physical books, and they each have 2 of the novellas in them. So absolutely love it. Highly recommend. If you just want to giggle and laugh, then definitely check these out. And now I'm going to start The City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty, so I will check back in with you with my thoughts later on. I have a reading update for you. Yesterday I finished the audiobook of The City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty, and I buddy read this book with Anna, and truly reading this with her made the entire experience. I'm not gonna lie, I'm bummed. It wasn't what I was hoping for it to be, and I was thinking about it earlier of if I read this book back in 2021, would my feelings on it be different? Because I definitely know that my reading tastes and interest back then are very, very different to what I enjoy reading now. But I still think the things that I struggled with in this book, I probably would have still struggled with back then. I think my number one issue with this book is that it is unnecessarily complicated. At first I was like, maybe it's just because I'm listening to it and I'm not having like those visual cues, but I read a lot of reviews that were basically saying the exact same thing. I also think what I struggled with was that there really wasn't much of a plot. There wasn't this goal that they were trying to achieve other than just getting to this one city. And the relationships didn't particularly feel very fleshed out. I also didn't necessarily feel like I connected with any characters at all. There were some that I liked more than others, but there wasn't any that I was like, yes. The characters themselves, maybe the descriptions that they had just felt maybe a little two-dimensional. The world building, on the other hand, was very lush and, again, very, very complex. And so it was very, very, very multi-dimensional, but almost like swung so far to the other side of the spectrum that there was just so many times where I was like, I don't know what that means. I don't know why that means anything. Like, am I supposed to like reference this back to something else? But then like, I also don't think so. The last 50 pages of the book unfortunately did hook me, but it didn't hook me enough to redeem the rest of the book. And by the end of it, like, I just kind of thought, I closed it and I was like, I don't even really know what I want to happen. Like, I don't feel particularly motivated to be rooting for someone over someone else. And it was just kind of like, okay, like, close the book. Okay. Cool. I did go ahead and read detailed summaries of Kingdom of Copper and Empire of Gold. And by the time that I finished that too, I was like, I'm honestly okay with like having not read this. I also think it's really interesting with as lush and descriptive as this book is, mythical creatures were not very fleshed out. And so I really struggled to imagine one. So for example, I think the very first time that she sees a Puri, she says, "It was something only a deviant mind could dream up, an unholy cross between an old man, a green parrot, and a mosquito. All bird from the chest down, it bobbed like a chicken as it moved forward on a pair of thick feathered legs ending in sharp talons. The rest of its skin, if it could be called skin, was covered in silvery gray scales that flashed as it moved, reflecting the light of the setting sun." I want to know, like, where does the mosquito part come in? And the old man, like, we get the like bottom half, but like, is it the face of a mosquito? I know it has wings. Is it mosquito wings? So there were aspects like that where I was like, I don't know how I'm supposed to be imagining this right now. I really, really wish that this had been a win, but I'm also really, really happy that like I can move those off of my TBR pile when they have literally been there for 4+ years at this point. However, yesterday I did start reading A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping by Sengu Mandana. This is this month's buddy read for our Patreon, and I am thoroughly enjoying myself. The audiobook is so cute and fun. I've been kind of mentally comparing it to The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches, and I think that Sengu has done a wonderful job. Like, the main characters both feel very independent from each other. The story itself feels really fresh and new. Single parent trope is not generally like a trope that I'm drawn towards. However, I will say this for both of Sengu Mandana's books, I have thoroughly enjoyed the way that like children has been woven into this, and the way that she writes found family I think is genuinely some of the very best I've ever seen. So anyway, I'm hoping to finish this one today, and then that will probably be it for this video, but I will check back in with you when I have finished. I finished A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping last night, and I absolutely loved it. I enjoyed it even more than The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches, and there were so many times while reading this book that I cried. Some of the most gorgeous, poignant quotes that I wished I had been reading it physically or on my Kindle so I could make a note of what those quotes were. I intend to like go back through and find them and highlight them and tattoo them on my forehead, because so much of this book is really just accepting yourself as who you are and the space that you take up, and allowing yourself to be loved for who you are and not what you bring to the table. And that sentiment is one of my absolute favorites to read in books. It always makes me think of Wild as the Witch. Nope. Nature of Witches by Rachel Griffin. That book just absolutely gut punched me and had a very similar sentiment of like, you're allowed to just be who you are and not your abilities. And I love that. I do have a few qualms with it. Like, I'm very tempted to give it a 5-star no matter what. But like, there was one thing that happened at the end that I'm honestly kind of having a hard time getting past, which really bums me out because I do think it deserves to be a 5-star read. So I'm thinking like 4.5, 4.75. I don't know. Okay, so my 3 qualms with it, and I will go from like least bothersome to most bothersome. And also I'm gonna like, this is gonna be spoiler free. While I really, really loved Sarah and Luke and enjoyed their relationship, I don't think I necessarily like 100% fully believed their relationship. Like, I definitely get that they were attracted to each other, but so much of this book focused on found family, which was truly some of the best found family I've ever read in my entire life. Absolutely stunningly gorgeous. So it kind of felt like the romance took the back seat, which I was fine with. Like, honestly, if this book didn't have romance in it at all, I'd be totally okay with that. Like, truly have no issues with it at all. But I think like by the time that the romance kind of started happening, I was just kind of like, that's not what I'm here for, because like everything else in it is so beautiful. So not like, it didn't truly bother me, but that's just like one little thing that I might point out. The second thing is, there was a character that I really did not enjoy. And when we finished the book and we didn't get like a full resolution to that character, I was almost kind of like, not that I wanted them to have their comeuppance by any means, but I was like, y'all are much better people than I am. I just kind of like, that character just like made me really mad. And then the last part, there was a trope at the very end of this book, which is one of my least favorites. And it's a similar trope that happened in The Serpent and the Wolf by Rebecca Robinson. And though it is one of my least favorite tropes, I didn't mind it in Serpent and the Wolf. I felt like it made sense. I felt like it was going to kind of come full circle in future books, that like, you know, it was gonna almost kind of get redeemed. Not so much in this one. And I get it. Like, I get what Sangu Mandana was getting to. Like, I see the vision, but it still makes me sad. So I loved it. I cried several times while listening to it. Like, it wrecked me in the best ways. But I do wish that there were aspects about the very, very end that were just tweaked a little bit. That they either didn't happen, or the outcome changed, or a character didn't make the decision that they did. And I literally think if that happened, then this would be a perfect book. Definitely recommend this. Perfect for fall. And I cannot wait to talk about this book in our buddy read, because I think it's just gonna be like tender to get to share this with other readers. All right, well, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for sticking around. I hope you enjoyed it. If you would like to learn a little bit more about us, you can check us out over on Instagram at the Bibliovertpodcast. We also have another YouTube channel called the Bibliovert Games, where we do like cozy gaming stuff. So if you're interested in that, definitely check it out. And we also have a Patreon where we do monthly book buddy reads. We have behind the scenes content. We do 2 Patreon exclusive podcast episodes every single month. And we have a chat that is so much fun. And you will get to meet some of the most incredible readers from all over the world. And we would love to have you join us. But that is it for this video. I hope you have a fantastic day. Happy reading, and I will see you next time.